Hello everyone, we all have seen the success story of Zudio, which is owned by Tata. But do you know from which international brand Zudio is inspired? I'll be talking about that case study in this video. So internationally, we have a brand named Primark.
I'm here with Primark. I've got a bunch of fab products to share with you.
Which was founded in 1969 in Ireland. It was founded under Penny's brand, and the major intention of this store was to bring in affordable clothing for all. That included kids wear, men's wear, women's wear, as well as they also have some accessories. So why Primark has created a different brand value in the global market? The reason behind that is their business model. So if you want to buy a t-shirt on Primark's website, you'll eventually realize that you cannot buy it on their website because they don't have that facility to enable you to buy anything online. Over the past 10 years, e-commerce sales have more than doubled. But last year, European fast fashion retailer Primark made 9.5 billion in sales revenue without a single penny from online shopping. This comes at an uncertain time for struggling clothing retailers. Retailers like Forever 21, JCPenney, and Neiman Marcus have closed their stores and filed for bankruptcy. And while a UBS report shows up to 80,000 retail stores will close in next 5 years, Primark plans to expand to 60 stores in the same time frame. So now the question is how Primark is expanding without having an online portfolio. Now we need to understand that fashion retail is incredibly competitive in nature, and while the inception of online buying, which is at its peak, it's very hard for offline retailers to compete in this market. However, there are not too many players, especially in fast fashion, that are making fat margins. Pretty much the thinking everywhere is that you have to have this online presence. But do you know that online selling for a retail is extremely expensive, as you have to have a logistical hub from which you need to dispatch the goods, and then you would probably have a local distributor center from which you have to do last mile delivery. Each of the steps just adds an extra layer of cost, and it just eats away all the margin, which is very thin in this sort of business. Now, if you're looking at the online business or the e-commerce selling for from retailers' point of view, you need to understand the major killer for e-commerce business is the propensity of the customer of returning the product when they buy it online. Instead, if a customer is buying it offline, the propensity is very low. Returns are one of the biggest challenge and biggest profit takers for online retailers. On average, processing a return for $100 worth of merchandise bought online cost the company around $26.50. For years, online retailers just ate these expenses. Only now are more of them deciding to pass it on to consumers as well. Primark's strategy was very clear from the start. They don't want it to get into this online arena of e-commerce sales. They are not even willing to try this. They are only going to focus on physical shops and physical experience what they are going to offer to their customers. That wasn't an issue for the retailers until the COVID hit the entire market.
Primark is expected to close all 189 of its UK stores tonight, and it doesn't have an online offering to fall back.
After this COVID pandemic breakout, we all know that online sales were the only lifeline left for these retailers, as they were mandated not to open their store, but due to this online presence, they were still able to make some sort of revenue. But Primark didn't budge, even as consumers urged for it to offer online shopping, and even after its revenue dropped by almost £2 billion. But after COVID, I think their confidence got shaken up. Now, nobody knows what would have happened if the COVID situation would have elongated. I think the closure weren't quite long enough. This would have really tipped the scale, and they would have been forced to, in fact, rethink about their business model, and they would have introduced online sales. But it's not like they haven't modified their business model. Instead of traditional online shopping, in 2022, Primark launched a trial service called Click and Collect in select UK stores. Customer can select certain products online, they can pick up their order in store. So, Primark still has some cost to maintain its website, but it is cheaper than running a true online shop. So do you see what's happening with this model? Now they have their online presence, but they don't have any sort of logistical or any sort of packaging charges. So they're saving a lot on those two fronts. And there's another bonus for Primark. Since the customer has to go inside to collect their purchases, they would likely to browse around and may even buy more. A customer might buy it online, but when they are visiting the store, there's a high possibility that they might consider buying some more product from the store. Consumer psychologists call this shopping momentum. Essentially, once you have already decided to make a purchase, it is easier to justify adding more to your cart. It always feels just overwhelming busy with people who are in there looking for bargains. And it's not just clothing. Primark lures consumer with beauty, home and travel product similar to a departmental store. So a customer may go in for a new t-shirt and leave with a suitcase. To carry this vast section of item, Primark finds large retail spaces because it relies on selling a lot. It is one of the largest retailers in the UK by volume and one of the largest across all the Europe. Last year, Primark made about £9.5 billion in sales revenue, in part by selling a lot of things at low profit margins. And Primark can easily do this because they source a lot of their clothing from Asia. This combined with not offering online shopping, this enabled Primark to sell its merchandise at lower prices, even lower than many other fast retailers. But with its offline business model, it doesn't mean that they don't have very close competition. They have close competition with companies like Shein, which is a digital operator and is also providing affordable clothing. At times, these digital players can go even cheaper than Primark. But it's not a challenge for them because they are offering customer experience instead of offering cheaper products only. So if you talk about the stats, according to the National Retail Federation, 80% of the shopping still happens in store, giving Primark an edge over its digital-only competitor. Even so, its in-store shopping model got off to a rocky start in the US. Primark opened its first US store in Boston back in 2015. Although it was already a popular brand in the UK, its US expansion started slowly. Over 4 years, it opened 9 stores. After years of experimentation, Primark learned that it would have to change in order to succeed in the US. But when Primark opened its store across the Northeast, it struggled to find the right store density. What they found in the US is the retail sector is far more competitive when compared with Europe. So US hosts a lot more retail shops, especially in the downtown area when we compared it with the UK. So the space what these kind of stores have, it was very hard to justify the footfall against that. So to support its large store sizes, it needed a lot of foot traffic. But unlike the UK stores which were located in constantly busy area, US stores were mostly in malls, where during the week foot traffic dwindled. They did not face the commercial pressure that's a public owned company might have faced to suddenly open 100 new stores and get really big really quickly. As we all know that the entire retail marketing is shifting again to the offline, whereby during the COVID, the online shopping was at the peak. Now the trend is shifting towards the offline shopping. So now let's just try to bring an analogy between Primark and Zudio. Zudio in India also tries to position itself as an affordable clothing brand. Likewise, Primark already is. Primark has established its foothold while Zudio is still trying to figure out the market share in India. So now do you see? Zudio is completely inspired from Primark. They also source cheap clothes from countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam and Malaysia in order to be on the top of the fashion, as well as they need to maintain that cost factor. And that is what the resemblance is in between Primark and Zudio. I will try to bring another video where I'll talk more about Zudio, but I thought of bringing this first because from here you will get the context that from where Zudio has sourced in this business model. Because they are doing really a fantastic business in India. They started with a very small margin. Right now, they are competing with top brands in India. So that is why that is going to be another interesting topic for us to discuss. So that is all going to be from my side today, guys. If you have learned anything substantial and viable from this video, please don't forget to like this video. That will make YouTube Baba happy, and don't mind subscribing our channel. For more such business case studies and geopolitical issues, you can follow us. I'm taking your leave. Thank you so very much.